get mine. You get yours, I get mine. You get yours, I get mine. Aight, then I'm gone. You get yours, I get mine. You get yours, I get mine. You get yours, I get mine. Aight, then I'm gone. You get yours, I get mine. You get yours, I get mine. You get yours, I get mine. Aight, then I'm gone. You get yours, I get mine. You get yours, I get mine. You get yours, I get mine. Aight, then I'm gone. Movie screens, then life's the biggest production, and it's a bitch with a big appetite for seduction. All of a sudden, niggas fussing for a big introduction.
One. Hey y'all, this is Daniel. Welcome to Blunt Talk, baby. How we doing? It's the 13th episode, baby. We're in the halfway point of the second season. It's been a long time in the making, man. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy we finally made it to the second half of the season. So without further ado, we're going to be talking more hoops. And what better to talk hoops than with my good friend, Trevor Leconte, baby. How we doing, Trevor?
We're doing great. How are you, Dan?
Woo, woo. My brother from another mother. First off, the first question I ask everyone here in this podcast is, my man, how has it been the pandemic for you? How was it? Was it an adjustment period for you, like going from normal life to pandemic and having to deal with that? Like, how has it been from your perspective?
For the most part, it's been decent, I would say. Got a puppy back in September, so that has taken up all of my time for the most part, and got a townhouse back in the summer. So nice. There's been a lot going on with that, and just working as an essential worker. So no really time off. So hopefully vacations for all of us soon. Exactly.
No, it definitely sounds like you have a lot of big moves in the making and you're trying to get accustomed to it. So for me, it was like basically I graduated during the pandemic. So like it was a little tough for me to get used to it because like I had online, like my last semester was online for like the last 2 months. It confused me in dynamics. Graduated, then the summer I did nothing, but now like recent to the end of the summer I started working in the same boat as you. So we're trying to make do, make pay, try to see how we can do. So I feel you on that.
What was your degree in again?
Sports management.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, sports management major. So anything that's sports related, that's me, man. That's me.
So what is your goals moving forward here?
My goal with it is, I mean, ideally I would like to work for a sports team. That's always been my dream job. If I gotta start somewhere else that's not the most necessary, like the place that I like the most, I'll have to do it. If I have to go to work for a sports company in California, if I have to go to another country, I'll do what it takes, man, to reach my goals. Because I gotta build up my resume slowly but surely, and then show them that I got the right skills to pay the bills. You know what I mean?
Okay. Fun fact: my first job was for a minor league baseball team, the Portland Sea Dogs, back in my home state of Maine.
That's awesome.
The Portland Sea Dogs were the affiliate for the Florida Marlins at the time. And I worked in the concessions selling like nachos and hot dogs, running the cash register.
Okay. And
all the older kids got to use the fryer later and make fries, and the pizza back there. I was so jealous. I was like 15, 14.
That's
you
awesome.
had to be like at least like 16 to make pizza.
You're probably jealous.
18 to use the fryer later. That was cool.
Oh God!
You thought it was so cool when you're a teenager. And
of course. That's probably the highlight of your day when you're growing up.
My dream would have been is to work in sports somehow, because which leads us to the next part. You know, basketball was my favorite sport growing up and is currently still, which is surprising for a white kid in Maine, which is mostly like hockey and
hockey's not bad. Hockey's not bad, man.
Hockey's big up north, and baseball.
Tell me a little bit about your background, because you say you're a Boston Celtics fan. So what's the reasoning for all of that? You grew up north in the northeast of the U.S.?
Yeah, I grew up in Maine. Most people, the closest major sports teams are all from Boston. So obviously I wasn't surrounded by a lot of Boston sports fans, because there's a lot of wacky fandoms up in Maine. You got Miami Dolphins fans and Buffalo Bills fans and teams from all over the place, because all the Boston teams were horrendous when I was a kid. So the Celtics were the most accomplished. The rest of them were terrible. So it wasn't because they were the most accomplished. You know, I started I think my first recollection of watching sports was the 92 World Series with the Twins and Braves.
Okay.
Kirby Puckett.
Yep.
I think that's when I said the F word the first time. Because I was rhyming with Puckett's last name and I said Puckett. And then I got scolded by my mom. I think
no.
I think I must have been like I was 8 years old. So
Okay.
let's see. The Patriots got bought out in '93 with Kraft. So they were trash, and then he saved them from going to St. Louis, which they were gonna move there.
I never knew that.
Larry Bird had retired in like '92, was the dream team. So he was done after that. So I missed all of Bird's career because I didn't start watching basketball until like Antoine Walker, '96.
What?
Yeah.
Shout out to Antoine Walker. He's a big dog.
The Celtics weren't very good, so I don't think they were on TV much. Like 92, 93, 94, 95. You know, and then Rick Pitino came and started giving buzz to the Celtics.
I remember that. Chauncey Billups, right?
Well, Chauncey Billups, Ron Mercer were in the same draft. We had picked 5 and 7. We took both of them. That was 97. 96 was Antoine Walker, which we picked because Pitino had come in.
Yeah.
And I think he was there right before they picked Walker, who he coached in Kentucky. So then I was like a huge college basketball fan back then. Like in my teenage years, I used to watch it big time. Because I was growing up like kind of the golden era of college basketball.
The JJ Redick era, right? Or am I like, no, I'm a little bit behind. It's not the JJ Redick era. That's like, you're talking about like late 90s.
I'm talking about like Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson.
Okay, yes.
Allen Iverson.
Georgetown, Allen Iverson. Jeez.
Yeah, Georgetown. Ron Artest for St. John's.
That's true. I forgot Ron Artest was a St. John's person.
He was really good. Who else? Tracy McGrady. No, he went from high school.
He was from high school, but that was an era where high school was pretty big too, because you had all those. KG was a good one.
Went from high school.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was big back then? Boston College had like Troy Bell. He was pretty good.
Okay.
Mo Cheeks from Michigan State. I mean, he was never a good pro, but like Mo Cheeks. Oh, you're talking Ray Allen.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
For UConn.
UConn, Ray Allen. That's when
I remember Miles. One of my early recollections was Miles Simon from Arizona, the bald guy. Arizona was really good, like 94, 95. Like Arizona, I think, was in the Final Four.
You got me there with that Arizona team.
Yeah, they were really good way back.
Interesting. Okay. The Wildcats, right?
Yeah, the Wildcats.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They had a good school.
Okay. Out of all the players that you've been able to see in your whole lifetime, who would you say is like your favorite Boston Celtics of all time? But you have to have seen them in person.
For the Celtics?
Yes.
It would probably be Pierce would probably be number one.
Truth.
I'm very excited because he got nominated for the Hall of Fame.
He did. He did make it. He's one of those people.
He should get voted in.
He should. The way Hall of Fame works in sports is really weird recently with like other sports like baseball doing what they do. But like, I think Paul Pierce is a lock. He has to be a lock.
I've watched his whole career. I mean, I'm very strict when it comes to the Hall of Fame. I think now every league lets in too many people and it waters it down. Because when I think of Hall of Fame, I think of the best of the very best. Like every week or every night that you watch sports, like you always notice that player make plays. Even if
I get what you mean. Yeah, I agree with you, honestly, because it feels like now it's like a participation award in the sense that it's like, oh, you were decent enough to like get this accolade, just go into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, you played 15 years and you accumulate a bunch of stats, so you're gonna make it. Like I disagree.
I agree with you. There should be a better parameter to how they decide like who actually should be in there. But at this point, the amount of people that's in there, like, I feel like it's just like you're going to have to be like, okay, I guess if we let this person get in, people that were worse, like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you always ask yourself, how is this person the Hall of Fame, but not this person?
Yeah.
This one person was great, much better than the other one. Mm-hmm. So there should be a standard to it, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And it used to be a higher standard, but now it's just, I think NFL does like 8 people now every year. They do all these former coaches and players now. It's like out of control. It's like, okay.
How do you feel about the Bill Russell as a coach now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I know it's probably just an add-on, but
I found it funny because
give it to him before he passes away. He's like 90 years old.
The man's old. First off, I want to see Bill Russell because I love Bill Russell and how he shows up into like the award shows and things like that. How he presents himself. He's like, hey, back in my day, I would have mollywopped all of y'all left and right without no issues or no like that. Like, but I feel like if you're in the Hall of Fame as a player, you should be automatically in already as a coach. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're under that designation, but he won a title with the Celtics as a coach.
Exactly.
He was a player coach in '69, his last year playing. That's what they upset the Lakers. They upset the Lakers in LA in the Forum.
I know he won a title as a coach, and I'm not trying to discredit it. Like, I get it that he deserves to be recognized as a coach. I'm just saying, like, why do we have to deal with it again if he's already in it?
I understand. It's just redundant. I got you.
Yeah. Like, he deserves to just his coaching career. He should have been there eventually, so like a nominee or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had this.
I used to dress up as Paul Pierce with a white headband and his and Celtic shorts and his jersey back in high school.
Oh
so
my goodness!
I repped big time.
Paul Pierce was really, for like the early 2000s. Him and Antoine Walker were really like the only players that the Celtics had in those 2000s years. Before that big three with KG, Rondo, Ray out. Big four, honestly, call it a big four because Rondo wasn't getting the credit at the time, but like he deserved.
He was balling. They put out an awesome tribute video to Pierce the other day, and I retweeted it. It showed highlights of him, like his top 50 plays.
Okay.
And people don't realize how good he was early in his career. He was just on a horrible team. If you had him on a team like with Shaq, with like how Kobe was early in his career, Paul Pierce was just as good as Kobe early in his career. Like he used to go to the hoop all the time, dunk it all the time, go to the free throw line. He wasn't just a spot-up three-point shooter or anything like that.
He was a dominant scorer, and this is my thing. If Trevor, if you put Tim Duncan right next to Paul Pierce for like 10 years at least, you're not telling me that team would have been perfect. Like Paul Pierce just needed that perfect sidekick next to him those first couple of years, because Paul Pierce was, if not at that top echelon, Paul Pierce was like in the second tier, trying to like sneak into that top echelon at that day.
You know what I mean? He was really good. He just had Antoine Walker wasn't even on the same level as Paul Pierce.
Antoine Walker was serviceable. He was very decent. There's no need to.
Yeah, he was serviceable as like a third guy or a fourth guy, but not like a number one guy or a number two.
I had this one segment planned out with you. It's called Grade That Trade. So I have a couple Boston Celtics trades that happened in our lifetime, and I want you to give me a grade. Looking at it now of how the team looks and everything, okay?
Oh, this should be good.
The first trade is the Kyrie Irving trade, Isaiah Thomas trade. The Cleveland Cavaliers receive Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Sisic, and the prize Brooklyn Nets pick in return for Kyrie Irving.
I like that trade. You mean then or now?
Looking at it now.
I still like that trade. But I guess I didn't have a lot of background knowledge on Kyrie's personality and how basketball is not the most important thing to him. So that's really altered who he is a lot as a player. He's not on the same like dynamic as like the killer instinct like Kobe wants to play, and how he's just not that same type of player. You know, driven. He's not driven for basketball. He's cares more about a lot of other things.
I agree with you.
So, I mean, you can't really take points away from him for that, but I know he's a big, easy target now for critics because of anything that comes out of his mouth, which is
even though he's an easy target for critics, buddy, like I feel like he still proves some people wrong. If you see it in the box scores and you see it in the games, he's a very dominant scorer, ball handler.
Oh no, he's really good player, but if we're talking about
mindset, sometimes isn't in the right place. I agree with you.
Yeah, but going off of that, his mindset wasn't good enough and right enough to have young people like Brown and Tatum to surround them with someone like that who's just you never know what you're gonna get.
No, I'm not trying to disrespect Kyrie Irving in any shape or form. He's just not the leader that you need for a team. He can be just your star player. Like if you put him with like Harden and Durant, like you see in Brooklyn, like of course that's going to be a
That works
successful
really
outcome.
good.
But you can't have him be the leader. You can't have him be the one holding the reins and saying like, "Okay, guys, we gotta do this," because he's not a leader.
Yeah.
He's just not.
There's
You
nothing
gotta
wrong.
give me
There's nothing wrong
give me
with
a
that.
grade, Trevor. Give me a grade for this trade though.
At the time or now?
Looking at it now,
It's still. I mean, is there even a grade? It's like an incomplete.
and incomplete.
How's that?
That's
Because
the first.
Kyrie played like 1 year, got hurt, and Isaiah Thomas, they traded someone that was hurt. So in the end, it was a good deal at the time, and then Kyrie got hurt, and he didn't even stay that long. So it was pretty much a wash.
Okay.
So it's incomplete.
Because the thing is, a lot of people don't realize this. Isaiah Thomas didn't stay in Cleveland after more than 1 year. Jay Crowder didn't stay in Cleveland more than 1 year.
Neither team got anything.
Ante Sisic went back to Europe to play.
Yeah.
And I can't even think who that Brooklyn pick. I think that Brooklyn pick was Colin Sexton, though.
Okay, who's pretty good.
Who's a pretty good player. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only guy that Cleveland retained. In my perspective of not being a fan, I would have given this trade like an A- or B+, because at least for those 2 years, Kyrie was with the Celtics. You guys made it to the conference finals 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. It's still kind of a
W.
W.
Had some success.
You had some success. It can't be attributed to Kyrie necessarily, but you had some success after that trade.
Yeah.
You get what I'm going for?
Yeah.
I got 2 more trades for you, buddy.
Okay.
Marco Fultz for Jason Tatum, the draft picks when you traded up and down, like you switched spots with the Sixers, that NBA draft.
Probably the second greatest trade in franchise history. The first greatest trade might be the McHale trade or Auerbach picking Larry Bird a year early before he came out of college. But if Tatum plays like 15 years in Boston, it would probably be the greatest trade of all time for the franchise. Or tied with Larry Bird, like getting picked early before he came out by Auerbach.
I can see that because Jason Tatum has that like extra something that makes it look, because he can be a leader. He could be like that one first option. He shows you his shooting ability, scoring ability. I wouldn't say he's like the greatest defender, but it's not like he's terrible at defense either.
But the key point is he's like your age. He's not even in his prime yet. He's
not even in his prime yet. He's
got like four more years.
Kid, man. He's still
a kid. People are jumping off the bridge, getting all upset, and it's dude, he's not even in his prime.
That's the one thing that bothers me a lot with the younger NBA players, like people like the Jokic, Giannis, like the 25, 24 age group.
Luka's what, 22?
Luka's 21, 22. Like people get so upset when they're failing this young and this early in their careers. They're still very young for a reason. They still got so many, like we don't know if like someone like Jokic, Giannis, Luka will finish a champion in their career yet. You know what I mean? They still have like half a decade in their career still to go.
That's why we need to talk. That's why NFTs and Top Shot and basketball cards are so popular now, which is another segment. But
we'll finish the episode. We'll finish the episode with the Top Shot conversation, Trevor. We kind of got a little sidetracked, but yeah. Jason Tatum looking like a nice fit for y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. He's looking like he could be the number one option.
And Jaylen Brown is way underrated. Right now, he's almost.
In my book, I love Jaylen Brown. Don't get me wrong. He's not underrated in my book. I see the talent, and I even brought it up to you like earlier in this pandemic. I was telling you, bro, like maybe Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum just a little bit this year.
As of right now? Probably.
Yeah, I was telling you that earlier. Like we were talking, and I was telling you that, hey, maybe Jaylen Brown is the
all around player right now. Jaylen Brown's probably better.
Yeah,
but Jaylen Brown has improved more too. Tatum, once he takes his next step, will be better than Brown.
No, I agree with you. I feel like it went from like Tatum being like this high and Brown like here. And then finally, if it's not at the same level, it's at least like grasping. You know what I mean?
Super close.
It's super close. Give me a grade for that Fultz and Tatum trade then.
A++++++.
A++. All right, I got you the final one, and I know you're gonna love this one.
Oh, here we go.
You guys sent out this point guard Delonte West, Wally Szczerbiak, and Jeff Green in exchange for Ray Allen and big baby Glenn Davis.
That's easily got to be at least an A because we won a championship and went back to the finals. Ray Allen was really good for us, and Glenn Davis was really good for us.
I love Glenn Davis.
So he was pretty good, but he didn't last long. He got overweight, and that was the end of that.
Yeah. He was eating too many stuffed turkeys in halftime shows.
Too many Tostones.
You remember that? I think he was in the Orlando Magic when they did like a Thanksgiving promotion for something, and like he ate a whole turkey as a contest or something.
I don't remember that.
That was back when he was in Orlando. He ate it and still won and played the second half. I was like, this man's crazy. But I can tell you really love the trade. I didn't even, first off, doing my research for this, I didn't even know Wally Szczerbiak played for y'all.
Yeah. Add his name to the list of a million guys I've watched in my life play for the Celtics.
Okay.
A million no names or semi names.
All right.
Just keep retreads over and over again.
Okay. I got one question that's not Boston Celtics related. Out of all the guys that are in the NBA right now in the league that are under 25 per se, let's go for a young kid. Who do you think's gonna end up being the face of the league in like 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, that's a tough question. 5 to 10 years, that's a long ways away.
Or it could be even sooner than that, or it could be like when LeBron retires. It could be whenever the timeline needs to.
How long LeBron is gonna play for? 2 more?
years, I guess. 2 more years, probably.
I think Giannis is almost there now, so I'm not going to go with him because I don't think in 5 years it'll be him. I don't think his game is marketable at the highest level if you're talking face of the league.
I get what you mean.
Let me see. That's assuming the league is still based on 3-point shooting and little people.
Yeah.
So it could change. I mean, Steph Curry has done pretty good for a little person as being the face of the league.
Yeah.
My top. I would probably say, going with potential, I would probably say Luka.
Luka.
Just because of like his attitude, his intangibles.
Yeah.
Like he can do everything. He gets triple doubles all the time. He had one last night. So
I like that answer.
I mean, it could be somebody else, but looking at like what they bring to the table, like I don't think Giannis has the personality for it.
I kind of agree with you on the Giannis thing. I feel like Giannis can be it, but I feel like it won't end up being him. You know what I mean? He's got potential to get to that level. I just don't know if he'll end up actually being like mentioned or considered the greatest player, the number one face in the league, number one in voting every time. Because he's done the voting thing in the All-Star game, for example. But that's just one example of like the whole thing in play. My thing is, I think there's a couple other candidates besides Luka. You have to put Luka at the top. You got people like Joel Embiid and Jokic who are still young enough and good enough that can be up there. A person like Jason Tatum, if he keeps developing at the pace he is, he's still pretty young. He could be up there. I wanted to say Trae Young, but then I wanted to backpedal on myself because Trae Young needs to pick it up. You know what I mean?
So the tough thing is big guys, too many injuries. Little guys aren't big enough to like do more in the game. So it's kind of hard. You kind of pick an in-between guy.
Yeah.
Like Jokic and Embiid, really great, but injuries could wipe them out quick.
Well, like
Trae Young.
Hear me out, because Joel Embiid's been injury prone in his career, but Jokic hasn't. Jokic has been very healthy in his career so far. And
you knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. You know.
I mean, I get you. I agree with you. I see what I mean. Donovan Mitchell's another person. I don't know if he'll actually get there, but he's still 23, 24.
I know. You got to we're looking at everything though: star power, sneakers, marketing.
The market, honestly, yeah, you have to be in the big market. You're right, or so at least in a team that's in the like.
I know, and the player themselves, though, like look at could you market Luka better or Giannis better?
You have to. They're both international players, and they both. I mean,
Just
I
because you pick one over the other doesn't mean the other one's going to be horrible. It just means you have to who the face of the league is.
No, you're right. I agree with you. It doesn't. You can't go wrong with any of the two selections, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix my camera in a little bit.
That's fine. I like your microphone. That's cool. I need to get one of those.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I think you sent me the link to that. You'll have to do it again because that was a long time ago.
I definitely did. I'll send it to you again. We're back on action. Okay, so the final stretch of this episode, pretty much. Okay, I'm gonna need you to like enlighten me in that Top Shot thing because I understand it to a certain level, but like, so I know you can go online and you can buy like a pack, like you're actually buying like a pack of actual trading cards.
Yeah.
But it's for specific highlights in the sense that it's like a dunk, a poster, a steal, a block, or like a 3-point jump shot or something. That's how it works, right?
Yeah. Series 1, I think, is done. So people that got in early, I think there was about 2,500 people who were into NBA Top Shot when it first came out. And now there's millions of people.
Yeah.
They're like crashing the site. So they've had to take it down from maintenance and like fix it. So all these people. And I read an article yesterday. I think one of the newspapers, like New York Times, said this financial analyst he invested like $125,000, $150,000, and now his collection is worth like 20 million. He's got like a limited edition LeBron dunk. So each card is serial numbered.
Yes,
like
I've seen that too. I've seen that too.
Obviously, just like with physical cards, the lesser the number, the more valuable. So some cards have like, 50,000, 75,000 digital images. So it's not worth as much, but if you have like 10 or a 5 or a 1 of 1, like that's just going to be more valuable. So same idea. Series 1 is already like in the books, and then Series 2 is out now. So you just gotta hopefully when you open up a pack, you get. So it's the same idea. Anything with a huge print run is like a common, like a worthless common.
Yeah.
You get like a role player, a bench guy, and get like a highlight from them. That ain't gonna do you nothing.
Yeah.
You pull LeBron, that's like a 5 of 10. Like that could be hugely valuable.
The biggest thing I've seen from like either YouTube videos, I've seen like the YouTubers that I'm subscribed to posting stuff on it, or like people that post stuff on Twitter and anything on social media, whatever it is that the value of these highlights is like it's very up there. It's very crazy to see just a simple video of an NBA player doing something is that valuable. I'm actually awestruck to hear it because I bring this up. I don't mean to be the person like being a Debbie Downer of the situation, but can you just like see the highlight on YouTube?
You can, but it's like owning it. It's like an NFT.
No, I understand it because it's yours truly. You're the only one that can see it. You're the only one that can own it because it's you. You packed it and you are the rightful owner. You got the copyright and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just understanding from a value perspective because it's like we're just giving value to a clip that can be easily be accessible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Like the card market, like the physical card market has been around for over 100 years, and I don't think that's going away.
Exactly.
Everything with nostalgia and stuff is blowing up. Like
Yes.
I saw Optimus Prime, 1984 Optimus Prime Transformer in the package sold for like $9,500 the other day on eBay. So all the 80 stuff and 90 stuff's blowing up, but the new stuff too, like the Top Shot. And I just saw on my Twitter feed or Instagram feed today, they're doing Topps is coming out with a hockey Top Shot, and they're doing Marvel Top Shots. But it won't be called Top Shot, but they're doing like a hockey version.
Yeah.
Wait till football and baseball will get in on the game because there's so much money involved.
Well,
football will be huge. I bet you they're working on it right now to do digital football cards.
Because this is a product of the NBA, right? Technically.
Yeah.
But there's someone else in it, right? Or am I bugging?
Is it Topps?
I think it's because then that's my question that I was going to ask now.
Then you're going to have licensing rights and everything. There's so much money involved.
But isn't the licensing for a sport like baseball, isn't baseball a different company in comparison to?
Like Panini America, maybe? Might be.
Yeah, because I think, but isn't Panini, I'm pretty sure, is the one that's dominant for basketball and for football.
Yeah.
And then you got Topps is dominant in baseball, and I think it's like Upper Deck that's dominant on hockey or something. I might be wrong.
I don't know the specifics, but Topps used to have a monopoly over everybody back in the day.
Yeah.
So like the courts in like the 80s decided they couldn't monopolize anymore. So then all these companies started like doing their own stuff. But you're gonna see, you think Top Shot is huge, wait till all the sports and like Marvel, like Disney gets into it. You're gonna have like animation, like Pixar, that's gonna be the thing.
No, I'm very intrigued in it. I definitely see it's something that's gonna become even bigger and bigger and bigger in the future. Like it's only the beginning of this right now, right?
Yeah. It's gonna
you know what I mean?
All this digital stuff.
It's intriguing to see because like I'm looking forward to see like this Michael Jordan highlight, this 360 dunk, whatever. Like it's like the most rarest thing and like the most expensive. I'm intrigued to see like the actual numbers to see this one thing sold for this. What the heck is it? Oh, it's the highlight of LeBron, of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued for that aspect. I don't know if I would ever put my money on for it and invest in it, but I would be intrigued to see other people and what they invest in and what they receive.
Well, wait till they come out with like Kobe ones and they do Bill Russell ones and Wilt Chamberlain ones and they do like limited edition.
That's when the game's over, right?
Tons of money for all this stuff. It's going to be huge.
It is. No, I agree. Is there, all right, if I have to ask you, what's the one dream highlight you would want to have in your inventory on Top Shot? What would it be?
Oh God, that's tough. It's like a million moments.
That's the $1 million question because I can give you my answer already. My answer is going to be that Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith alley-oop, where J.R. Smith puts it between the legs for the Knicks and dunks.
Okay. That's interesting. The J.R. Smith highlight is your
J.R. Smith, Mr. J.R. Swish.
J.R. Smith.
He's a fool. He's one of my favorite Knicks of all time, but he's a fool. Oh, my goodness. He's from Jersey. Jersey, baby. All right.
One of my favorites would probably be when Paul Pierce, when they were playing Indiana in the playoffs, and Al Harrington and him were going back and forth, and Harrington was in his face talking, and the clock was winding down, and Pierce was dribbling, and then he just like spot up at the 3-point line and buried it right in his face. That was one of the best Paul Pierce moments. But I don't know if that's my greatest of all time. I mean, you got Michael switching left hands. You got Larry Bird like shooting threes in people's faces. You know.
You know what I just thought about? I think you know how Dame Lillard hit that shot over Paul George in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I'm sure.
I feel like that would be up there in the top highlights just because of the audacity of the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it has to be a big moment too.
Yeah.
How about the block from behind from LeBron?
Yeah. Yo, that better be up there.
On Iguodala. Wasn't it Iguodala, right?
It was on Iguodala, man.
Yeah.
Game 7 of the finals, you telling me that's not very rare, very valuable? That's better be up there.
Yeah, that would probably be top 10.
All right. Anything else you want to add into like the Top Shot conversation? Anything else that
I'm still learning about it.
Yeah.
So we'll do another episode on like the cards. I know a lot more about that.
I got you. So without further ado, Trevor, you got any last words? Anything else you want to add in?
No, thanks for having me on. We finally did it. It's been a while.
We did it, baby.
My background isn't as great as yours.
Hey, stop it. It's a work in progress, man. Make yourself the office, make the setup and everything, and boom, you got your own channel.
We're growing.
Well, Trevor, I wanted to say thank you so much for being on the podcast. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate you being on the episode. I had a good time, my brother. And
we'll try to do it like a weekly occurrence or something.
We'll figure something out, yes, sir.
People can follow me on Twitter.
Hey, shouts out to your Trevor. Guys, he's got a podcast. Trevor, I don't want to butcher the name of your podcast.
Yeah, it's the Cardboard Guru and Collectibles podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on Spotify.
The link will be in the description, guys. I will add that later on, and when you guys will be able to follow him and subscribe and everything to him. So without further ado, if you guys were listening to either on SoundCloud or YouTube, peace out, my people.
Peace out.